So, with y'all, man, we got another video. You got my team. We got the Eagles drop Q's news before NFL agency, man. My boy Phillips. Let's see what's going on with him, bro. Cause I heard that he might be getting traded, bro. Well, actually, I think
The Eagles just dropped
yeah, I think they say he got traded to the
huge news before the start of
Panthers, I
free
think.
agency, and the moves are only just beginning. As after extending Jordan Davis, it seems like Jaelan Phillips could be the next player to land a big contract with Philly. But also, what does this move mean for Jalen Carter, and what's all the latest noise on the rest of the Eagles free agents like Nakobe Dean and Reed Blankenship? Plus, the A.J. Brown situation continues to hover over everything, so let's break down everything just before the beginning of Eagles free agency, starting right now. NFL free agency is about to begin, and for the Eagles, we know that things are going to get pretty chaotic, and we'll get to their long list of free agents in just a second, but first, we gotta start with Philly's first big move of free agency. Well, technically before free agency, as the chaos began over the weekend with Howie
You got my
Roseman
boy
inking
JD.
star defensive tackle Jordan Davis to a mega contract extension,
National Crack
specifically a 3-year extension worth $78 million and $65 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid nose tackle in NFL history. And while I think you initially see those numbers and you say, wow, that's a lot of money, it's very well deserved for JD after the season that he had last year. I mean, Brendan Deeg points it out here. In 2025, Davis had 63 tackles on designed runs, which was first among defensive tackles. He had 6 batted passes, which was also first among DTs. He had 9 TFLs, which was fourth, and also a career-high 28 pressures and a career-high of 4.5 sacks. I mean, again, it truly was a special year for Jordan Davis, so the extension was very well deserved. Plus, when you consider the fact that
He
he's only
wasn't balling,
26
though.
years old and the insane amount of hard work
He's
and
26.
dedication that JD put into getting
like
in shape so
22,
that he
23.
could have this breakout season that he had last year, I'd say it's pretty likely that Jordan Davis is just getting started and the best is yet to come. I mean,
Yeah, I
let's
ain't
not
gonna lie, JD
forget
got
that as
potential, though,
recently
bro.
as last offseason, people were calling Davis a bust. And obviously, one of the big knocks on him is that he was out of shape. But starting somewhere during the 2024 season, JD took that personally.
It became personal with me.
Davis showed up to offseason training in 2025
Yeah, he
looking
go
like a
crazy,
whole
though.
new man. I mean, he was way slimmed down from where he was before, and we saw
That's
that
the NFL
translate
duty, though,
on the
man.
field this
I
past
lost
year.
some
So
weight,
again,
too, from this.
the on-field production's one thing, but his work ethic and focus also factor into him earning this extension as well, in my opinion.
I want to be who I am. I want to genuinely be the best person I can be. And that's why I'm so hard, like going so
It's
hard
gonna
in terms
work.
of like how my body's changing and my weightlifting and my conditioning and stuff like that, because I want to do this for me. I want to look sexy. I want to be skinny. I want to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, selfishly. Like, at the same time, like, the more that I do that and the more that I see progress and I see results, I'm even more
That's what we
motivated.
need, bro.
And it's at the point where it's like
We
consistent
need
now,
that,
so it's not
JD.
even like, it's like second nature. It doesn't take much. Somebody, like, I went out to a restaurant a couple days ago and I took a picture with a waiter and he showed me, he was like, this is from 2023. He showed me, I was like, ugh. I was
Yeah,
just
bro.
like, wow, like, bro, like, it's crazy what a
Damn.
difference in 2 years can do. Like, I look like a completely different person.
Plus, we can't forget that JD has become a great leader in the defensive line room, and his presence in that locker room and just in general and the energy that he brings has become very valuable. So the point is, the Eagles didn't just extend Jordan Davis for the player that he is, but also the person he is
Leadership,
factored into that
bro.
decision as well.
That's what we need.
I don't know
Lock
if I
'em.
changed that y'all up, but I love everything in this room, man. Just not the football players that y'all are, but the men that y'all are.
Plus, something else that can't be overlooked is that while this is a 3-year extension, he's going to be under contract in Philly for the next 4 seasons because he had picked up his 5th-year option last offseason. And when you look at the average annual value across those 4 years, it comes out to about $22.7 million, which actually ranks 10th among interior defensive linemen. Plus, Philly Nation on Twitter points out that, assuming the contract is structured similar to all Howie's other recent contracts, JD likely won't have a cap hit of over $10 million, at least until 2028, and he may only take up an estimated 2.8% of the team's salary cap space through the duration of the contract. So, all that to say, if Davis continues to play at the level that he was at last year, or he gets even better, this could low-key be a steal, or at the very least, he would be well worth that money. Now, one question that this did make me ask is, what could this mean for Jalen Carter? And this is just me thinking out loud here, but I think Carter would get significantly more than $26 million a year with a new contract extension, but obviously, you can't pay everybody, and the Eagles just paid Jordan Davis. They want to pay Jaelan Phillips, who we'll get to in a second. They also want to pay Q and Coop next offseason. They've already paid a ton of other guys. Like, you know, it's a lot to think about, and then you also remember that Carter's name has been floated around in some albeit shady trade rumors this offseason, most recently with Ricky Scoops on Twitter saying that the Eagles were open to trading Carter for Max Crosby before he went to the Ravens. Now, the day after that, Ricky's account was wiped from existence or he deactivated it, so who knows how credible he is. I mean, he just seems to be a mystery source of rumors and leaks that's sometimes right, sometimes wrong, so again, who knows how accurate he is. But I do want to make it clear that I love Jaelan Carter, and I 1000% think that the Eagles should extend him when they can. I mean, I still think he has Defensive Player of the Year potential when he's healthy and locked in, so I think the trade rumors on him are ridiculous. And in reality, I do think the Eagles love Carter, and the reports this offseason have said that they want to get him extended as well. And that includes a new one from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, who said that the Eagles are weighing an extension for Carter, and they've also received trade calls on him, but notice he says received and not that they're actively shopping him around. And like Victor Williams points out, if teams think that Howie's asking price for A.J. Brown is unserious, then wait until they see what Howie would want for Jaelan Carter. Like, the price is going to be insane. So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to assume that Carter probably isn't going anywhere, and an extension very well could be coming soon, but all I'm saying is, you do have to wonder if this big extension for JD affects things for Carter at all, or at the very least, the timing of it. Like, could the Eagles pick up Carter's 5th-year option now and wait until next offseason to extend him? Like, who knows what they're going to do, but again, there's a lot to think about there. Back to the Davis move, though, not only does this keep a core player locked up for the long term, but it also created some additional money for the Eagles going into free agency. As like we've talked about all offseason, it's projected to have opened up right around $9 million in cap space for Philly in 2026, so that means even more space to potentially bring back somebody like a Jaelan Phillips, who we've been hearing for weeks now that Phillips is the Eagles' #1 priority in free agency. And ESPN's Jeremy Fowler echoed that in his most recent article, as he said that Philly is attempting to re-sign Phillips to a new deal worth more than $20 million per season. Which, that sounds about right, considering Phillips is one of the top free agents on the market around the NFL right now. And we've heard some pretty high numbers for him all offseason long, but Philly can only go so high. Like, I don't want to pretend like I know the ins and outs of the salary cap situation, but I would imagine if it's around $20 to $22 million for Phillips, the Eagles could probably do that. But if it's $27 million a year, maybe more than that, I don't know. That just seems a lot more unlikely to me. Just because, again, the Eagles already have a ton of guys on these huge contracts, and they have even more guys that they're going to want to get extended in the near future. So they got some very tough decisions to make. Now, that said, I definitely want Phillips back. I mean, the Birds' pass rush was pretty much dead last year until Phillips got there and helped to revive it. And even though he didn't have huge sack numbers by any means, he was towards the top of the league in pressure rate. He was very good against the run. He's clearly a great fit in Vic Fangio's defense, and he loved his time in Philly. So, again, bringing him back, in my opinion, makes total sense, especially because the Eagles build from the trenches and they need a bona fide star on the edge. But again, they can only pay him so much, and there are also health concerns with Phillips that you have to consider as well. So I could honestly see it going either way, so we'll have to wait and see. If I had to make a prediction right now, I'm going to lean towards him getting re-signed and staying, but again, I could be wrong. We'll see what happens. Moving on to another top free agent, though, we got a little bit of an update on Nakobe Dean, as I think the general consensus on him has been that the Birds virtually have no chance of bringing him back this offseason, and I guess this report makes it seem like there's somewhat of a chance, but in reality, he's probably still gone, unfortunately. Now, the report is from Jeff McClain, and he's saying that Nakobe and his agency were told to come back to the Eagles if his market isn't as expected, and that the Eagles do want to keep him, but he's going to test the market. And let's be real, like, what's going to happen is Nakobe is going to go out there, test the market, and some team is going to throw a bunch of money at him, and he's going to leave. And it's going to suck, but again, that's just the reality of it. Like, the Eagles can't pay everybody. They got Jahad Campbell on the roster.
Our team is just so talented that we had to, like, let go.
After waiting, so it just doesn't make sense to pay Dean, even with how great of a player and leader he is. So, you know, it hasn't happened yet. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he goes out, tests the market, and he doesn't get what he wants, and he comes back to the Eagles, but I just highly doubt that actually happens.
Oh, no, I just don't see
now, someone that I'm a little bit more split on is safety Reed Blankenship, and McClain had a report on him too, as he said that if Reed's market value exceeds $10 million a season, then he won't be back in Philly. But honestly, again, like, I have no idea what to think or expect with Reed Blankenship and what kind of contract he might get. Like, I got no clue what his market value is going to be. I mean, I've seen projections all over the place, some less than $10 million, some more. I think if he would have been a free agent last offseason after the Super Bowl win, he definitely would have gotten more than $10 million a season, but this past year was kind of a down year for him, so I do think there's a chance that he could be more affordable now, and I'm sure the Eagles would like to keep him around, because despite his flaws, Reed's a solid player who's also a good leader for the secondary, plus I'm sure that he'd like to stay as well, so maybe he would consider taking a little bit less money to return. Who knows? Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but again, we'll see. If I had to make a prediction, I'm going to say that Reed stays on a good, affordable contract, but again, I could be wrong. We'll see. Now, another guy whose status is up in the air is tight end Dallas Goedert, and we've talked a bunch about him all offseason long. I've seen reports leaning both directions, but I think the Eagles definitely do want to keep him. I'm sure that Goedert definitely wants to stay, but it's going to come down to the price. And again, the Eagles cannot pay everyone. There are going to be some casualties, so Goedert very well could end up being one of those. But then you also have to remember that if he just leaves and signs with another team, the Eagles eat $20 million in dead cap. So it's just a really tough situation, no doubt about it. And the Eagles also need to draft a tight end, no doubt about that either. And there are some free agent options out there as well if Goedert does end up leaving that the Birds could consider bringing in. So again, I think it's really hard to know what exactly is going to happen with Dallas Goedert. Could he take a slight pay cut to come back again? I don't know, but I guess we'll see. If I had to make a prediction, I unfortunately am going to say that I think he probably goes in free agency. I think there are going to be teams out there that offer him a lot more money than the Eagles are able to, and he's just going to take a more lucrative deal somewhere else. But I hope I'm wrong, so again, we'll see what happens. And I think one other thing that could maybe affect what happens with Goedert, though, is the A.J. Brown situation. And at this point, there's just been so much floating around about that it's really hard to know what's true. You know, latest reports are saying that the Patriots did offer a first-round pick and a third-round pick, but the Eagles declined that. Others are saying that no team has made an official offer. Most reports are saying a resolution is coming probably by today. So for all I know, as I'm recording this video, something could happen, but we'll see. I am going to hold firm on my stance, though, that I think AJ will be back. I mean, I think the Eagles want to keep him. I think AJ wants to stay. I don't think there's this irreconcilable tension between them. Plus, the dead cap hit the Eagles would have to eat. That's just insane. I know they don't want to do that. So I just don't think the Eagles make a trade unless they got an offer that they absolutely cannot refuse. And again, I just don't see that happening. So that's where I stand, but we'll see, I guess. One move I do expect to see before the start of free agency, though, so within the next less than 24 hours, is for them to cut cornerback Michael Carter, because that would free up about $8 million in cap space, and I don't see a reason why they wouldn't make that move ahead of free agency. So we'll see on that. Maybe by the time you're watching this, that's already happened. And then as far as the rest of the Eagles free agents go, there's obviously the big four, but there's a ton more notable players set to hit the open market. There's Jahan Dotson, who I still really like and think played his role very well in his time in Philly, even if he wasn't used very much. Likely I think he's not going to be back, especially if AJ is staying, because the Eagles might be just priced out there. Some other team might offer him a lot more than the Eagles are willing to pay. And he also seems to think that he's not going to be returning either, but we'll see for the right price. If the Eagles can't find a better option or better fit at wide receiver 3, I would definitely like to have Dotson back. And then there's also tackle Fred Johnson, who again is another guy that I'd really like to see back, but I just don't think it's super likely because we know that he wants to be a starter, and that's not going to be here in Philly, unfortunately, for him. And then there's cornerback Adoree Jackson, who honestly, I think he actually played pretty well for most of the season in that cornerback number 2 role. And if the Eagles wanted to bring him back for cheap, I would fully support that. Again, you can't have a star at every position, and I personally don't think the Eagles should invest a high draft pick at the quarterback position. But, we'll see there. And there's also a bunch of other guys as well, including Brandon Graham, who I think definitely is going to be back.
Yeah, he going to be back. It's like almost our whole offense down there.
And then Azeez Ojulari, Josh Uche, Agbo Okoronkwo, Brett Toth, Matt Pryor, Braden Mann, who I really hope is back, Sam Howell, A.J. Dillon, Grant Calcaterra, and Kylan Granson. So we'll see what happens. And also a while back, I went through this entire free agent list in a live stream and asked my viewers who they thought would be staying or going, and this is what they came up with. They said BG is staying, Phillips, they were split down the middle, Ojulari, Uche, and Okoronkwo, they said we're gone, Nakobe Dean, they said gone, Fred Johnson staying, Brett Toth, people were actually surprisingly split on him, Matt Pryor gone, Braden Mann staying, Sam Howell gone, A.J. Dillon gone, Reed Blankenship stays, Dallas Goedert goes, and Grant Calcaterra and Kylan Granson go, and then Jahan Dotson stays. So again, that was their prediction. options. I highly recommend you guys come hang out during the live streams when I do those. And, with free agency coming up this week, we're going to have plenty of those coming. So, again, make sure you watch out for those. It's usually a ton of fun. And also, if you just don't want to miss any of my free agent content coming throughout this entire next week and just all the content I got coming throughout this entire offseason, then make sure you guys subscribe and you turn on notifications and also drop a like down below to show some support because it really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to at least 500 likes.
He good. All right. Let me see. All right, we're gonna watch this whole video too. Niggas like my rap.
It is day one of 2026 NFL free agency, and we have some breaking news here on Philadelphia Eagles now. There was a lot of optimism from Philadelphia and Howie Roseman that the Eagles were going to be able to retain edge rusher Jaelan Phillips, the trade acquisition who really helped to improve Philadelphia's defense following the NFL trade deadline. But Philadelphia was never going to pay Jaelan Phillips the number that he just got from the Carolina Panthers. The preferred price tag for the Eagles, somewhere in the neighborhood of $25 million. But Jaelan Phillips is signing with Carolina on a 4-year, $120 million contract. He gets $80 million in guaranteed money, and that is good for $30 million per season. Obviously, this isn't good news for the Eagles. They only have 2 edge rushers under contract going into 2026, Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt. And so there is a lot of work to do for Howie Roseman to address a position of importance. And you look ahead to the NFL draft, I think the Eagles have to go offense heavy early in the draft, unless the board falls their way, because this defense is starting to and will become very expensive. Jordan Davis got a contract extension. Eagles could give Jalen Carter a contract extension. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, going to be up for new deals. Philadelphia really likes Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt, but now edge rusher becomes a huge need for the Eagles. Jaelan Phillips was phenomenal for the Eagles after the trade deadline. The defense went from being really good to great, and in 8 games with the Eagles, Jaelan Phillips had 41 pressures. And he put together another marvelous season under Vic Fangio. And how about these numbers? Since being traded to the Eagles, Phillips had those 41 pressures, which ranked 6th in the NFL. He also logged 32 hurries with Philadelphia. That was 4th in the league. His pressure rate was 18.8%. That was also 4th. And the Eagles' defense, since the Phillips arrival in Week 10, they were number 1 in points per game allowed. So the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL at 15.6. Their
defense scored the
sack
most?
number of 26 from there on out was tied for 5th. Their sack rate was 8.6%. That was tied for 7th. Their pressure rate, 41.7%. That was 6th. They forced and generated 14 turnovers. That was tied for 5th. The completion rate allowed, because quarterbacks didn't have a lot of time to drop back and survey the field.
40.
That is why pressures are important. Sacks are not the end-all be-all. 54.3%. That was 1st. And the passer rating against was 69.3. That ranked 3rd. So this is a pretty sizable loss for the Eagles. They worked hard to retain Jaelan Phillips. He was one of the players this offseason who they wanted to get a deal done with. But I imagine that the Eagles had an offer out to Phillips, and they let him and his agent hit the open market, and they said, Jaelan, come back to us. And when Phillips came back to the Eagles and said, Carolina is offering me $120 million and $30 million per season, Howie's going to say, see you later.
Yeah,
we're not going to give you that type of money. Best of luck.
He ain't getting that much bread.
There is some good news here sprinkled in for the Eagles. With Jaelan Phillips leaving, the Eagles will get a 3rd-round compensatory pick back in the 2027 draft. So it's not the end-all, be-all for Phillips going to Carolina. You look at his 2025 PFF ranks. This is the entire season, but I thought him being on this Eagles defense alongside some really talented players on the defensive line, and then with some really good players at that 2nd and 3rd level, that's when he took his game to the next level. Overall PFF grade 74,
74.
pass rush grade 77.1. He was really good against the run for the Eagles. That really surprised me. The 73 pressures all year was ninth, 41 of them, again, coming with the Eagles in 8 games. And his missed tackle rate, 18.5%. You look at what he's done the last 4 years, this goes to show you why I think Jaelan Phillips wanted to take this deal and why I don't blame him. He medically retired from football in college. Then at the NFL level, he suffered from a torn Achilles and a torn ACL. So he's dealt with injuries at the NFL level where it became really important for him to cash in. So Jaelan Phillips to Carolina, 4 years, $120 million, and we'll see what the Eagles do in turn. But even Draymond Jones got like $39 million.
Ooh.
Could they make a trade for Jonathan Grenard? That could be a really interesting move for the Eagles. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a moment.
Just go get some, what do we call it? Some people are from the drive, bro.
We'll take a look at some of the top
Don't
pass
be signing random people.
rushers available. But first, your one-word reaction to Jaelan Phillips getting a crazy bag from Carolina. Let me know down in the comments.
My one-word reaction, bro. Thanks for asking me, bro. I actually really appreciate that. Me, to be honest with you, bro. Mine is just business, bro. Honestly, like, it's just what it is with the NFL, bro. Like, you just gotta take advantage of what you have, bro. It's like it's kind of like, you know, auction on NBA Live. When they said play NBA Live mobile. For me, you don't put enough money to your player. You don't invest in your team. Then your team ain't, for me, gonna be the best. You feel me? And then somebody else gonna do it. For me, it's kind of like a girl, bro. If you don't treat your girl right, you be mean to her, you bully her, whatever. Another man gonna see that. He gonna be like, okay, bet. I can treat her better, get her more money. For me. But if you have to always look at it like this too much, no matter what you do, my hearty, there's always gonna be somebody who wants what you have. That's what it comes down to. I'm telling you, because like, if you see somebody famous and they got $1 million. Two Corvettes in their backyard, a Lambo on their the other side of their yard. That's cool, bro. But there's probably another man that has 79,000. You feel me? But a better heart, but he don't have as much bread. You feel me? And that girl's gonna leave that man with the 700,000 for that dude with the millies, bro. So that's why I'll tell y'all, bro. It's just it's business, bro. You feel me? It's business. I fuck with my boy Jaelan Phillips. For me, he was tough, bro. He had some good rushes, and that's what I said earlier in my D lineman video, bro. We got to get some edge rushers now, bro. I had a feeling that we was going to lose some of our players. You know, our team is real talented, and we're going to lose a lot of players, bro, because they're a real talented team. You know what I'm saying? But I just say keep my boy JC. Shit. Make sure you get that punter back. That was a good punter. My boy Reed Blankenship got to come back, no doubt. Who else? Shit, who else was on that list? Shit. Honestly, that's about it, bro. Just keep them. Maybe keep Han if we can. Unless we get another receiver in the draft. I feel like we could get a good receiver in the draft. We do need another DB. I say leave Adoree Jackson in the dust. Get my boy from the my boy Wet Jet or Caleb Downs. Maybe you can have my boy Coop play cornerback, and then he could play safety for me. Since we don't got Makuba back, I don't know when he come back, but we need him back. But I just say, I mean, yeah, it's business, bro. Like I said earlier, bro. You feel me? As long as we also get Brandon Graham back too. And yeah, just make good decisions with that. I mean, we got JD. Shout out my nigga JD. We got him on a new contract
right now. Today's Philadelphia Eagles now. Day one, NFL free agency is made possible thanks to our friends at Chubby's. Right. In a world to sit on and where love. Who do you usually anti-20 at Chubby's? So Jaelan Phillips signs with Carolina for $30 million per year.
What's wrong with this dude?
The Minnesota Vikings are in salary cap hell right now.
But I don't know, though, because they said we was going to get Max Crosby. They said we was going to get my boy Steph Diggs first to him. Well, they said we was going to – well, That's why I was confused because they said we was going to trade AJ Brown for Diggs. Like there was like towards like the Super Bowl, like before the Super Bowl, like before they knew the Patriots were going to the Super Bowl, they said we was going to trade him. But I just like I also got to add AJ Brown. I don't really be tripping because I know we're going to keep AJ Brown, but still, bro, we got to make sure we pay him, and have him. Satisfied. Hold on, wait. Yeah, but we got to make sure that we pay him though for sure. Want to get AJ. Let me get y'all a little take two real quick. So I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
Because
I don't know if we're gonna keep Goddard, bro. I'm just gonna say it now. I don't know if we're gonna keep him. All right, y'all, ain't gonna lie, my computer died, so we're gonna have to we ain't gonna talk about it. But basically, bro, you feel me? So what I was saying is, I feel like we should keep my boy AJ Brown, give him another extension, and just use some more on offense.
Jonathan Grenard.
Hold on. Because we can't go, bro.
Available. And last year, going into the deadline,
I'm true.
I thought that Jonathan Grenard was a really good fit for what the Eagles like to do. Here's the key thing with Grenard. He's in his late 20s. He's under contract for the next 2 years at $19 million per season.
High cap.
So Jaelan Phillips leaves for 30. Jonathan Grenard probably wants a rework deal. But you could give him a new deal, or you could say, tough luck, we traded for you. You have an opportunity to chase a Super Bowl. We're keeping you under that contract at $19 million per season. And that's $11 million less than Jaelan Phillips. Jonathan Grenard has scheme versatility. He's played in a 4-3. He's played in a 3-4. Thrived under D'Amico Ryans running the 4-3. Last couple of years, he's been under Brian Flores with that hybrid 3-4. The Eagles have been said to like Jonathan Grenard as a player. So I would look at a potential trade for Grenard, which would probably require third-round pick in order to get that deal done. Maybe you have to throw in something else on top of that. The Vikings are looking for a quarterback. Could you trade Tanner McKee for Jonathan Grenard?
No.
In 2020,
Don't be stupid.
had a down year because he was injured.
Better off trading Sam Howell.
But he was still excellent against the run. Eagles value that from the pass rusher spot. But look at what he did in 2024. 12 sacks.
Are you smoking?
2023, 12 and a half sacks. That is the player he's capable of.
You think that
and I would put him right on par with a player like Jaelan Phillips. Overall grade last year, graded out extremely well. And in some areas, better than Jaelan Phillips. Overall grade is 74.2, tied for 33rd. Pass rush grade 77.6, 19th. Run defense grade 77.8, 12th. Total pressures, still at 47, 31st. Missed tackle rate, 25%. So this would kind of be a flex move by Howie. 6'3", 259. He's a little bit more slender, I would say, than Jaelan Phillips. Jonathan Grenard is a trade option for the Eagles. As far as free agency options for the Eagles, Phillips was our number 2 edge rusher available going into free agency. Take him off the board.
Get my nigga.
So you've got Trey Hendrickson. We'll see what his price tag is. A little bit too expensive for Dallas. They made the trade for Rashawn Gary this morning. You've got Odafe Owe, who I think the Eagles would really like as a player. Bradley Chubb is a much more affordable option.
Yeah, I said it.
He's played under Fangio twice, with Denver, with Miami. Joey Bosa, I'm good on because he's been injured a lot, although the last couple of years he's actually been healthy.
Tough, though.
I think Boye Mafe would be a fit for the Eagles. You've got Kayvon Chason, who's still only 26 years old. Kwity Paye is kind of a grinder at that edge spot. Draymond Jones went to the New England Patriots today, got a bag. Arnold Ebiketie is a more affordable option where the Eagles could go that route to save some cash. Cam Jordan is a veteran presence who's missed, I think, 2 games in his career.
36.
You've got Von Miller.
Bro, no, bro.
Probably a no-go for the Eagles because of the domestic.
Bro, look at this dude, bro. Don't get these 2 people, bro. These dudes are literally pushing 40. The Muhammad dude is kind of
violence allegations. Al-Qadim Muhammad, I'm good on. Malcolm Kuhn's 27, just okay. And then you start to get to the bottom of the barrel.
I don't even know who this is. Yeah,
Joseph Asai went to the Jets. Okay, Joseph Asai just signed with the Jets. So take him off the board as well. Obviously, a lot of this is fluid too.
Niggas putting anybody.
So some
like
optionality for the Eagles. But for Phillips, go and get your bag, man.
Yeah, shout out to Phillips.
And for the Eagles, yeah, I would never pay Jaelan Phillips $30 million. So let's say who should replace Phillips? Trade, free agency, draft. Let me know down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, I appreciate all of you.
I would say out of these people right here, what's called it? Just get my nigga Trey. That's all I gotta say. Either Trey, maybe the Tubes dude. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Maybe Bosa if you can, but you know he's kind of expensive as shit. But let's pray real quick. Lord, just help us be able to make good trades and just be able to win the Super Bowl this year, and just help everybody stay healthy and just be satisfied wherever team they go to. Help us keep chasing dreams, and be able to be an amazing YouTuber and everybody watching and do the same if that's what they want, and just accomplish all their dreams. We love you, Lord, nothing without you. Jesus, my name, Jesus, my name. Y'all, Jesus, y'all, man. Y'all stay safe.